Welcome to Forced Induction TV. I'm Scott, and this is Building Power Stage by Stage, a new series where we're taking the world's most iconic engines and showing how real builds come together. This isn't a checklist of every part and gasket you'll need. It's about generally understanding what it takes to build these engines into the fire-breathing monsters you see on TikTok. We're breaking the builds into stages from simple bolt-on intakes to full race motor builds. We'll detail the main components for each stage, what it's likely to cost you, and the results you can expect. To kick things off, we're starting with one of the most beloved four-cylinders ever made, the Honda K-Series, centered on the K24. Stage 5 will take us to 800 horsepower, so hang around. We're not starting here because it's the most powerful or the cheapest, but because it's honest. Every change you make shows up on the dyno, and every mistake teaches you something. It's the perfect platform to kick off this journey. Interested in other engines? Hit that subscribe button. After the K-Series, we're moving to the opposite extreme, the LS. Then we're heading down under for the Ford Barra, the iron block boost legend that's equal parts muscle and madness. All right, let's jump into the infamous K-Series and explore what it takes, and more importantly, how much it costs to get these little motors pushing 800 ponies. The K-Series has two main branches, the high-revving K20 and the torquier K24. They share the same aluminum engine architecture, dual overhead cams, cast-in iron sleeves, and Honda's famous iVTEC with variable cam timing. But the K24 uses a taller deck and longer stroke. They behave like brothers with opposite personalities. The K20 lived in the Acura RSX Type S, the Civic Si, and the JDM Integra Type R. High-revving, light, and razor-sharp. The K24 came in the Accord, Acura TSX, CR-V, and Element. Boring cars but built for torque and everyday drivability. Even the 2012 to 2015 Civic Si ran a K24 variant. If the K20 is the sprinter that loves to scream at 8,000, the K24 is the brawler that makes real-world power at half the effort. For most builders, the 24 is where it all begins. Affordable, plentiful, and endlessly tunable. That doesn't mean the K20 doesn't matter. Actually, far from it. Its parts are the secret sauce, a K20A2 RSX Type S oil pump, bolts onto most K24A engines to delete the balance shafts and stabilize oil pressure at high RPM. And its head flows so well that combining it with a K24 block, the famous K24/K20 Frankenstein hybrid, creates one of the best naturally aspirated setups you can build. Everything we'll cover today applies to the K24 directly, but most of it will make sense to anyone building a K22. Before we start adding horsepower, let's talk strategy. Not every upgrade you buy now will carry forward to the next stage. That bargain bin intake or Temu header might sound tempting, but if you're planning to build past stage 2 and step into serious power, they'll hold you back, and you'll end up buying things twice. These things always go further than you expect, but at least spend a couple minutes thinking about your plan before you start clicking Add to Cart. If you can define an end goal, you'll usually find it's cheaper to just buy the proper parts that you won't outgrow or break, a proper radiator, a clutch that can handle future torque, or a quality tune solution. The only time it makes sense to hold off is when a part depends on something else to work, like oversized injectors that need a new fuel rail, pump, and tune. A smart man once told me, "I'm too poor to buy cheap stuff." Think of it like building a house. You can start small, but you'd better pour the foundation you'll need later. Stage 1. Bolt-on basics. Every K-Series journey starts here, waking up the stock motor without opening it up. A cold air intake, a free-flowing header, and a 2.5-inch exhaust instantly let the 24 breathe the way it's always wanted to. Pair those with a proper tune through Honda, and you'll feel the difference immediately. Plan on around $1,500 for stage 1. The throttle response sharpens, torque comes in earlier, and that flat factory power curve finally wakes up. On the dyno, you'll see roughly 15 to 25 extra wheel horsepower, usually ending near 190 to 200 at the wheels. But more importantly, it feels alive. Grandma won't like driving her Accord anymore. Stage 1 is the first rung on the ladder. It's affordable, safe, and transforms a polite commuter into something that actually wants to play. It will feel good at first, but it's not enough to keep most power-hungry enthusiasts satisfied. Stage 2. Cylinder head, fuel, and oil cooling. Once the engine can breathe, the next step is helping it use that air and survive while doing it. We can't have our little lawnmower engine hyperventilating. This stage focuses on the top end. Cams, valve springs, intake manifold, throttle body, injectors, and a high-flow fuel pump is what we're looking for here. Street performance cams open the valves longer. Upgraded springs keep everything stable at high RPM. and a better intake manifold keeps airflow consistent. Pair that with a 70mm throttle body and stronger fueling from 550 to 750 cc injectors with a high-flow pump, and you've got a setup that pushes enough fuel to match all that fresh air it's getting. Stage 2 starts pushing the engine. The internals might be fine, but you need to start thinking about the additional heat your little 4-cylinder friend is generating. Coolant temps should be fine without much intervention, but the K24 is notorious for oil temps spiking on track, often past safe limits. So a thermostatic oil cooler is strongly recommended. Put it all together with a solid dyno tune, and you're looking at roughly 230 to 240 ponies. Still daily drivable, but a lot more fun. Getting through stage 2 will probably set you back around $3 grand, putting you $4,500 all in to this point. Stopping here is a great spot for people who want a fast, naturally aspirated street car that can handle the occasional track day. It's reliable, it's fun to drive, and it still has great resale value. At this point, the car feels great, and this is where many stop. But if you want more, it's time to start actually building the engine. That's what stage 3 is all about. Stage 3. Forged internals and oil pressure. The stock K24 bottom end can surprise people. Plenty of well-tuned stock sleeve setups live around 400 horse at the wheels, but it's a gamble. Ringlands and rods are the usual failure points. To build safely past this range, you need forged pistons and rods, bearings, and ARP hardware. Expect to spend around $2,500 to $4,500 for parts and machine work here, depending on your builder and components. This isn't about a big horsepower jump, it's about raising the safe ceiling. You'll also want that K20A2 Type S oil pump to support high RPM and boost. This is the grown-up stage. Not flashy, not loud, just the foundation for everything that comes next. Doing stage 3 and stage 4 together, building and boosting at once, that is the more fun route, if you have the means to do it, because stage 4 is where things get really fun. Stage 4. Forced induction. Now comes the fun part. Turning all that strength from stage 3 into pure, tire-smoking turbo-whistling speed. With a forged bottom end in place, the K24 becomes a different animal. A turbo kit or a Rotrex centrifugal supercharger transforms it from quick to downright fast. Add 1000 cc injectors, a proper fuel rail and regulator, and a clutch that can hold the torque. Then tune it correctly with a 3-bar map sensor. Do it right, and you're looking at 450 to 500 plus wheel horsepower on pump gas. Even more with the 85. That's enough to put a light car like the Civic or Integra deep into M3 and super territory. You'll have enough torque to embarrass cars twice the price. You'll also have enough power to torque steer yourself straight into the ditch, so be ready when the boost hits. Just remember, every pound of boost is another pound of heat. Keep oil temps down and air temps under control, and this engine will live a long, fast life. Stage 5. Full race build. For most people, Stage 4 is plenty, but for those chasing trophies, Stage 5 turns the K-Series into a weapon. At this level, the block gets sleeved or closed-decked, the internals are fully forged, and the fuel system converts to E85. A big turbo or upgraded Rotrex pushes far beyond stock limits, controlled by a standalone ECU with features like boost by gear and torque management. The transmission gets built, often with a limited slip differential, and cooling becomes mission-critical. Dual oil coolers, race radiator, and ducting. Power on these race motors can get up to around 800 plus wheel horsepower, depending on setup. It's no longer a daily. It's a machine with maintenance after every weekend and data logs after every pull, but it's supercar performance on a mortal budget. And that's exactly why people love building them. If you take away one thing from this entire video, I hope it's this: plan your build. It's always cheaper to build once, slowly, than to buy twice, chasing quick gains. Buy parts that match your destination, not just your impulse today. And that's it, folks. The roadmap for the K24, one of the most capable, affordable, and downright educational engines ever built. If this helped you understand how real power comes together, don't stop here, because we're just getting warmed up. Next up, we're heading to the other side of the garage with GM's LS, the everyman V8 that changed performance forever. We'll show how that humble truck motor became the most swapped engine on Earth, and how to take it from stock block to a 1,000 horsepower street monster. And right after that, we're going down under for the Ford Barra, the turbocharged iron legend that made the world take Australian horsepower seriously. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this journey through the world's greatest engines is only getting started. I'm Scott, and this is Forced Induction TV. Until next time, plan smart, build right, and enjoy the drive.